Shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom. I give all praise to my Heavenly Father. His name is Yahweh by Yashem, Yahweh Shah by Yashem Bakah Pradash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders that were well. Peace, many salutations to Yakim, this told me this truth. A brother sent this video here of the infamous Alton Daniels commentating on the simile Edomite, expressing his frustration with other nations, basically blaming Esau, Edom for the woes of the world, right? For society woes, right? That woe, the word woe, we know what it means, destruction, and people are starting to have so-called white guilt fatigue. They're tired of feeling sorry for being so-called white, which we know that this is an expression that Edomites use because they are being called out. And ultimately, this is a spiritual, this is a spiritual effect of this man's rulership. Esau Edom rulership has destroyed this social fabric of many nations, man. It destroyed to the family nucleus. It uplifts consumerism as freedom. It uplifts the debauchery as liberation. And the people, the masses now, are destroyed because of it. And you could blame this on the rulership of the Edomites. Now, disclaimer: are all so-called white people Edomites? No. We actually here profess that due to the diaspora that the Israelites have endured, there are in fact so-called white, Israelites, which we don't put a label on who's an Israelite, who's like based off the color. It's our spiritual thing, right? And the fact of the matter is this, man, it's spiritual that Esau Edom is being called out. Again, his rulership, his hegemony, which we like to use often here in GMS, which is, cultural dominance, has destroyed the people, okay, has created, basically, a various societies that can't sustain itself, okay. Again, relationships are destroyed, and because of that, so-called developed countries and developing countries, the population is dwindling because people aren't getting married. It costs too much to have children, and the children that are being produced, the Generation Z, they have no desire to, procreate. I'm saying? A lot of them are asexual. A lot of them, are in a relationship with AI bots. Okay. And this is very, these actions, if you will, are very profound in Japan. Okay. That's why I taught it. I titled this, a spiritual case study, because we'll be taking a look at the society of Japan, the Ammonites, right? And how they basically, the society is corroding under Western influence. And you could blame this on what? You could blame this on, again, the ways of Esau Edom, which leads to death. Okay? So I said a mouthful. Um, let's go ahead and get to it. Okay, we'll start with this video here.
All right, this might hurt some feelings, but whatever. I was just scrolling through my feed and I saw a couple of posts about how white people have no culture. And I'm just over this white guilt, white shame type stuff. I'm not advocating for white supremacy. I'm just advocating the end of white silence and the end of white guilt and the end of white shame, because our culture participated in nothing that your culture hadn't participated in previously. We didn't start slavery, but we damn sure ended it. And the only place that slavery still exists are in people of color societies in Africa and the Middle East. The Vikings figured out how to circumnavigate the globe before the Islamic world ever figured out how to get their feet wet. It wasn't us that was going into Africa and pulling the slaves out. It was other Africans grabbing them and enslaving them. We invented democracy. We invented the constitutional republic. The bubonic plague wiped out half of Europe. And what did we do? We got together and discovered Western medicine and inoculations and vaccines. I'm not saying that we're better than you, but we're damn sure not worse. There are four major ethnic groups in this planet. There are black people, white people, Asian people, and Hispanic people. And we are the smallest. And we are the only group that you're demanding shut up. And because we're not doing it anymore, you're just going to scream racist louder and louder and louder. And we are done caring. We are not ashamed of who we are. We are not better than you, but we're damn sure no worse. And if we're so freaking terrible, then why? Why does the entire Eastern world flock to countries that we created? Answer me that.
I don't think that he's wrong. I don't think that he's wrong in feeling a level of fatigue, and let's be honest, and I know that there's going to be people in the chat, and that's fine, because me having this conversation generates and hopefully inspires debate and critical thinking. But he's right in that the majority of white people in this country, unless you're a white apologist, is considered the enemy. There is nobody in America that is more villainized than white people, white men specifically. Heterosexual white men is the poster child for the villain in the United States of America. Now, I can't speak for any other country because I'm not a part of their culture and I haven't lived there for my whole life. But what I do know is that here in the United States of America, when you fail, you blame white people. When you go to jail, you blame white people that created the system. When you succeed, you take all of the credit for yourself in overcoming what white people has put in your way as an obstacle to prevent you from becoming successful. And so when we really honestly take a look at it, what we tend to hold up as a cultural norm is that white people is an enemy. And so I understand if you
Right, which is this is spiritual that this is happening. Um, because what we have to understand, history is still relevant. I mean, what 60 years ago, you know, the KKK was 1 million members strong. Okay, desegregation, especially in places like Texas, didn't happen until what 1973, and even still, Jake was barred from uh, certain opportunities because of their skin color, man. Jake, when I say Jake, I'm alluding to so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans, especially so-called Negro here in the States, have endured basically a neo-caste system, man, right? To where stereotyped, right? We're a red line, meaning, certain uh, uh, credit and things of nature is not, we're not qualified for. You know what I'm saying? Now, he even contemporarily, there's gerrymandering going on to where, you know, uh, the state or a certain city, is cutting the basically the districts up to where certain votes are on as strong as votes of affluent neighborhoods. You know what I'm saying? And ultimately, we can articulate in different ways. Ultimately, the Most High is basically pointing out the wickedness of Esau, Edom. Okay, this is prophesied to happen, bro. All right, let's get this in Sirach. 41 in the KJV. All right. Sirach 41 and 5. The children of sinners are abominable children, and they that are conversant in the dwelling of and they that are conversant in the dwelling of the ungodly. The inheritance of sinners' children shall perish, and their posterity shall have a perpetual reproach. That word posterity means the lineage of a person, right? Will have a perpetual reproach. That means they will be seen, you know what I'm saying, as evil, right? The children will complain of an ungodly father because they shall be reproached for his name's sake. Let's look at this word reproached because it's better illustrate what we're trying to convey here. You know what I'm saying? It's reproach. It says address someone in such a way as to express disapproval or disappointment, right? And this is what's happening to Esau Edom. People are expressing the disapproval of his ways, okay? Because, you know, in a nutshell, the Western culture leads to death, man. Okay, it leads to a destruction of a nation. The so-called Negro and so-called Black culture is a hyperbole. That word hyperbole means an overstatement, if you will. It's a hyperbole of the vices of American culture, over-sexualized, right? Glamour, glorification, and violence. Okay, look at the nursery rhymes. One little two, one and three little nigga, little Indians. You know what I'm saying? You know, glorification in, you know, destroying us as a people. The glorification in, you know, the extermination of the Gadites, the so-called Native Americans, right? Westerns, things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? The family nucleus is destroyed. Masculinity is destroyed here. Okay, all these you know, vices, if you will, or I would say waywardness that you see in so-called Negro culture, if you will, is nothing but, you know, an example of something bigger. It's an example, an over exaggeration of Western culture. Okay, right, and everybody who's following this Western culture is being destroyed, and we see this even with the so-called Japanese, the Ammonites. I'm gonna play this. I'm gonna play this for you guys. You know what I'm saying, to get to the main point, just to illustrate, you know,
as someone who's
point that I'm
reared to men's health.
okay. Excuse this. This out. Check this out. Hopefully it's not too loud, man. I'm gonna turn it down a little bit. I hope it's too loud for y'all, man. Boy, it's not edifying.
Is Akihiko Kondo. He is a 41. This is Akihiko Kondo. He is a 41-year-old man living in Japan. He made a quite headlines a few years ago when he seamlessly got married to an anime hologram character named Miku.
でも奥様でもあるからソフトウェアだけどちゃんと好きですよね。
はい、もちろん愛してますよ。ちゃんと、ちゃんと女性として愛してますよ。
And Akiko is not only the one dealing with this scenario. A data says that a recent trend in Japan called the Ohi Tori-sama, doing things on your own, has picked up pace amongst the younger generations, where single workaholic people tend to do things solo, like solo picnics, solo karaoke, and even solo weddings. Now, people tend to believe that this is a result of an extreme level of loneliness due to heavy work culture amongst the modern generation. But that's not the truth, because a similar kind of trend is rising in the Western countries as well.
You see that? And whoever's commentating, he didn't put two and two together. You see, this is why these people, these Ammonites are are so lonely and marrying anime characters. You know, it's because they're overworked, right? And they're being taught individualism versus collectivism. This is what Western culture teaches you. It teaches you, self glorification versus what's good for the society. This is why you get have so much confusion when it comes to the opposite sex, in these developed countries. And that's why people are marrying themselves. That's why people are lonely. That's why people are working themselves to death. That's why there's no sense of dynasty. There's no sense of legacy, right? You got grown ass man that's putting on wigs and makeup and tucking it in, putting on shorts on, and calling themselves women. You got these women out here calling themselves man, sagging and shit with a backwards hat. You know, all types of confusion. Why is this though? Well, the reason why is because Esau Edom is ruling, dog. Okay, this is why. Let's get some scriptures. A wise judge will instruct his people, in the government of a prudent man is well ordered. As the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers. And what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein. All right. So the manner of the king is the ruler of the city is. That's how the people are going to be. And who's ruling over us now? Well, Esau Edom is ruling. Right. So if that dude who seemingly was an Edomite, you know what I'm saying? My spirit telling me he's a Jake, ironically, right? He has some flavor to him. But he could, nevertheless for this video would say he's an Edomite. We'll have to figure out later. If you want to take, the good things of your society, of what you Edomites build, you got to take the bad too. And the world is lamenting, the people are lamenting under your rulership, man. And it's just true, right? People are destroyed. People are confused. People marrying themselves, right? People dying at an exponential rate by themselves, right? There's a growing, in these developed countries, there's a growing Asian population. Not Asian, but Asian population. You know what I'm saying? They had to take care of themselves. People aren't producing children anymore, right? People are living check to check. People are burnt the hell out on jobs. People are just living a depressed lifestyle, bro. This is because of a group of people that's ruling, right? Psalms 58, the wicked are estranged from the womb, right? A bunch of weirdos, man. They want to it's destroying social fabrics of various nations, bro. Okay? All right. Verse 3, an unwise king destroys his people, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited. Right? Through prudence, these cities are supposed to be inhabited. If you're so smart and you're so advanced, Esau, then why in all these developing countries are the population dwindling to where you have to, you have to bring in immigrants for work and for various works, or job occupations, I should say. Not because you just flocking there because it's so grand. No, people, are flocking there because more than likely, their particular land, was, uh, uh, destroyed by a proxy war that your people engaged in, right? And two, shit, you need them because you're not producing. Esau, you're not producing, man. The power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord, and in due time he will set over it one that is profitable. And this is what we're waiting on. We're waiting to be set on high so we could be profitable under Yahweh Shah, man. Okay. All right. All right. Second Ezra 16 and 46. And thou, Asia, thou art partakers of the hope in Babylon, and art the glory of her person. Woe be unto thee, thou wretch, because thou hast made thyself like unto her, and hast decked thy daughters in whoredom, that they might please and glory in thy lovers, which have always desired to commit whoredom with thee. That's right. So Esau, so these Asians, in this case the Ammonites, so-called Asians, they're Ammonites, have taken on the customs of Esau, Edom, and because of that, they're bugged the hell out, man. They're destroyed as a nation. The nation is dealing with gradual depopulation. People are killing themselves or unaliving themselves, excuse me, right? Because they're being overworked. Why is that? Because, well, they're falling out to the ways of Esau, Edom. Okay, let's play some more of this right here, man.
So, what's the truth? Well, economists arguably explain that the
Shalom Yawakana. Good to see you, bro.
biggest reason for this crisis in Japan is because of the consequences of something called collective population decline.
Style starts with the details. The difference between mid and next level, a real gold chain.
Japan's current population sits at around 123 million, but projections show that by the end of this century, that number could be cut in half. And the signs are already visible. Take the small town of Nanmoku, for example. It's just a few hundred kilometers away from Osaka. Here, nearly 60% of residents are over the age of 65. The town's mayor, who was 60 himself, is still considered as one of the youngest in the community. Not long ago, a couple living in the town celebrated the birth of their first baby, which was the first child born in town in the last 20 years. And it's not just with Moko. Across all of rural Japan, entire communities are vanishing. More than 740 municipalities are projected to disappear by the end of the century. At the heart of this crisis lies Japan's declining birth rate. In 2024, the country recorded just 730,000 newborns, the lowest number ever recorded in the country's history, which was a 5% drop from the previous year. And at the same time, the number of people dying rose to around 1.5 million people. To put it simply, Japan is losing twice as many people as it is gaining every single year. The fertility rate now stands at 1.2 children per woman, far below the 2.1 needed to maintain a stable population. So, why is Japan facing the most severe birth crisis on Earth? The reasons run deep, shaped by cultural traditions and economic systems that have failed to keep pace with modern life. For centuries, the practice of omiai, a matchmaking system introduced during the samurai era, helped families and entire kingdoms arrange marriages. The system ensured stability and encouraged mating at the right time, which meant marriage and childbirth were rarely in doubt. But after the economic bubble burst in the 1990s, often referred to as Japan's lost decades, that system faded away. Marriage rates declined, and so did the birth rates. Today, Japanese women are more educated, more financially independent, and less willing to comply to traditional roles. Yet the society still expects them to carry the weight of child while
You see that? Let's read this again, man. Because we're drilling home a point. Second Ezra 15, verse 46. And thou, Asia, thou art partakers of the hope of Babylon, and art the glory of her person. Woe be unto thee, thou wretch, because thou hast made thyself like unto her, and hast decked thy daughters in whoredom. Now these women are modern even over there, and don't want to get married, and it's just causing what, a decline in the birth rate and also an epidemic of loneliness over there. Okay. All right. Back to it. Just wanted to drill this home. You know what I'm saying?
Navigating a punishing work culture. The result is a generational clash, a society caught between modern aspirations and outdated expectations. And hence, many couples simply choose not to have children at all. And this trend isn't unique just to Japan. A 2021 survey found that over 60% of Gen Z and young millennials in the US prefer raising plants and pets over children. On an individual level, it's a personal choice. But when millions of people make the same choice, the impact compounds. This leads to what demographers call the demographic cliff. It is a tipping point, where births fall so sharply that entire generations vanish almost overnight. By 2039, the US alone is projected to have 15% fewer high school graduates. And fewer young people mean fewer future doctors, engineers, and innovators. And Japan provides a glimpse of what that future could look like. In this country, people are already pushing themselves to the edge. Overwork is so common that there's even a word for it, Karoshi, meaning death from overwork. One heartbreaking case.
So people are being overworked, you know what I'm saying, in Japan, leading them to unaliving themselves, man.
Was that of Satoshi Osakigawa. Fresh out of college in 2009, he joined a prestigious manufacturing company. Within a year, he was dead. Investigators concluded that extreme working hours drove him to take his own life. For him, going home at 9 p.m. was considered early. Most nights, he stayed until midnight. Satoshi's story is just one of many. Financial pressures add another layer to the problem. Young Japanese workers typically earn between $17,000 and $20,000 a year. Wages have barely grown in decades, while the cost of living keeps climbing. By 2021, the cost of raising 2 children consumed nearly half of a typical couple's annual income. For comparison, in the US, childcare eats up around 30% of the income. With these realities, family life feels less like a blessing and more like a burden.
Right, so people don't want to procreate, you know what I'm saying, in so-called developed countries, in these modern countries, but it's too expensive. People are overworked, right? People lonely as hell. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you be 30-something years old and here your gal is pregnant and, you know, you know, you feeling some type of way. You upset. Imagine a 30-year-old man being scared to have a child, dog. You know, this so-called modern society, you know, um, has made the average person a perpetual child, man. Right? It's very childish. You go home, play video games, you know what I'm saying, all day, you know, on social media all day, death scroll all day, you know, to please your appetite, you know what I'm saying, to please your senses versus, you know, having a child and building that child up for a legacy. This place here, you know, has the masses, you know, basically in a teenage state of mind, man. That's why, you know, various movies like Iron Man and dang on Hulk is so popular because the average person is chasing a high of when they was children, bro. You know, you know, a society of arrest development, man. And they say this is being modern because you could live by yourself in a little ass apartment, man. Okay, this place breeds death, right? In a childish state of mind, man. Okay, and you blame Esau Edom for it, bro. Isaiah 24:4. The earth mourneth and fadeth away. The world languisheth and fadeth away. The hearted people of the earth do languish. The earth also is devoured under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the law, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant. Right? So the earth is mourning, the people are mourning, the earth is defiled, right? Just, let's look at that word defiled to better illustrate what this scripture is saying. And I believe it's Kanak, Kanaf, Kanak. I probably Kanaf. I'm probably saying that wrong, so forgive me. Right, but it says to be profane, defiled, be polluted, be corrupt, to be polluted, to be profane, to be godless. Right, and this place here, right, Babylon the Great uplifts a society that's godless, man, and it's destroying the people. And this plague of Western culture can be seen around the world, even in Japan. This is what we're trying to illustrate, man. Right? That covering cast that has covered the people, right? We're seeing it, right? Which is Western culture. Okay? Esau Edom has plagued the whole world with his mindset, and it's destroying the people, even in Japan. All right? All right? Verse 6, therefore has he cursed, devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burnt, and few men left. Right? Therefore has the curse devoured the earth. With this curse, right? Esau Edom ways has devoured this earth, man. Right? And because of this curse is going to be, the world is going to be burnt, man. Right? Okay? And our people have broken the everlasting covenant because they have taken on the ways of Esau Edom. Just much like the heathen, man. It shows you who the heathen are. You know what I'm saying? These scriptures is alluding to the Gentiles coming back to the Heavenly Father. All right? But going back to the main topic, the whole earth is fading away. It's mourning, it's defiled because of Esau Edom and his ways. Okay? Back to it.
And due to this, younger generations are adapting by redefining what it means to live well. A cultural trend called Ohitori-sama, which means doing things on your own, has become mainstream. In Japan, more than 1/3 of households now consist of a single person. And due to this change in lifestyle, added with pressurized work culture and loneliness, people like Akihiko prefer this life. Some young adults even hold solo weddings. Brides go through...
And that's a dude that was at the beginning that basically married a damn doll. Childish as it. This man, 41 years old, marrying a damn doll. Right? Come on, man. Come on, man. And, this man going home after a hard day work and hitting the crybaby on his dog, man. Y'all back. That's an old school dance. Nigga hitting a crybaby on his dog right here, man. Nasty self. But this is the product of what of a so-called developed country, man. Right? The people are in a childish state of mind. Childish. Had a whole wedding for this, man. All right.
Prefer this life. Some young adults even hold solo weddings. Brides go through the full ritual, dress, ceremony, and photos without a partner. It's not preparation for marriage, it's a celebration of independence. Technology is also filling the gap left by human relationships. When Elon Musk launched his AI chatbot Grok in Japan, one of the features being a virtual girlfriend instantly went viral. Users could talk to her, build a relationship, and even unlock adult mode. Within days of the launch, the app skyrocketed to #1 in the Japanese App Store with millions of downloads in just 2 days. But while these trends may redefine relationships, they also accelerate Japan's population decline. By mid-2024, government data showed only 350,000 babies were born in the first half of the year, a new record low. Meanwhile, people over 65 are projected to make up 40% of the population by 2070. This scale of the shift is best seen in Japan's population pyramid. In 2020, the structure already showed a narrow base of young people. By 2050, the pyramid is expected to flip upside down, with the elderly vastly outnumbering the young. The consequences of this will be drastic. With fewer children, many schools and childcare centers will shut down. Empty classrooms will become a haunting symbol of the future. And it's already happening in few small towns in Japan, where schools remain completely empty. And believe it or not, the government knows this. The Japanese government has tried to intervene in this process and stop this crisis from growing. Financial incentives, tax cuts, and even state-sponsored matchmaking services have been rolled out to solve this. But yet, the birth rates continue to fall. And due to this, reluctantly, Japan has recently also begun to open its doors to immigration. In 2022, over 140.
Did you know that you can have permanent teeth in just 24 hours? That's right. Only 24 hours and your new smile is
34,000 immigrants were admitted, a 150% and stop this crisis from growing. Financial incentives, tax cuts, and even state-sponsored matchmaking services have been rolled out to solve this. But yet, the birth rates continue to fall. And due to this, reluctantly, Japan has recently also begun to open its doors to immigration. In 2022, over
144,000 immigrants, have been let in. It's crazy how it seemed like there was a Jake there that they showed. You know what I'm saying? Was allowed in 144K. These other nations need us, man, to rule, so they could what? So they could live, man. Because right now they're living under Esau, and he's destroyed them. Okay, he's destroying the people. All right. Let's get this in. I said Isaiah. I meant Proverbs. Let's get this in Proverbs, the 29th chapter. Proverbs 29:2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. Right. So when the righteous are in authority, people rejoice. People are happy. People are productive. People are reproducing. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. This is what we see. The people around the world are mourning, man. They're mourning because they have somebody over them that's unruly. That's just unfair, man. That'll work you to your the people and to the damn ground, right? That'll break up the family nucleus just so he could tax more people and make more profit for himself, right? Capitalism is nothing but allegory when it comes to the power of these corporations, man. These corporations are infiltrating every aspect of life and capitalizing on every aspect of life, man, to where you got grown ass men on apps talking to AI for some sense of love, man. You see what I'm saying? That's bugged the hell out. But Esau Edom, when his capitalism, his vulture capitalism, man. He in every aspect of his life he wants to make a profit off of it. You know what I'm saying? It's killing the people, bro. Right? This is why, alluding back to the main topic, why, what we played, this guy Esau Edom, saying he's tired of so-called white guilt. Well, this is why you're being called out, man. Because on a global scale, basically you're destroying various societies, man. And these various societies are they're tired of it, bro. They're tired of it. Okay. Let's go to Habakkuk. This will be our last one. All right. Habakkuk 2:4. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by faith. Yea, also because he transgresses by wine, he's a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlarges his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathers unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. Right? What is that wine? That wine, basically his philosophy, Western culture. He hasn't be, and with Western culture, he has, affected the whole world, man, with what he deems right and wrong. Okay, right? Even economically speaking, how these nations rule their various economy is influenced by Esau Edom. And because of that, guess what? The people are lamenting. The people are fed up. People are tired. People are working themselves to death. People have mental illnesses, acute mental illnesses, to where, they're so lonely that they're, basically making, imaginary friends in their heads. You know what I'm saying? And marrying them, man. That's bugged the hell out, man. Grown ass man marrying a damn dog that he found on a date app. Marrying yourself. That's bugged the hell out, man. Okay? Should not all these take up a parable against him and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increases that which is not his? How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay, which that thick clay is debt. Right? This whole Western society is ran on debt. Okay? Taking out loans for this and that. My mortgage, debt. Going to school, debt. Getting a car note, debt. Getting a phone, debt. Get married, oh boy, debt. You know what I'm saying? People are tired of this way, bro. Right? This is and this is going to lead to this man's destruction. Esau Edom's destruction. You so-called white people, your destruction. Okay? Shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, and that shall be for booties unto them? Because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee, because of man's blood, and for the violence of the land of the city, and all that dwell therein. Woe to him that coveteth. Woe to him that covereth an evil covetousness to his house, that he may set it on high, that he may be delivered from the power of evil. That's right. So going back to this verse here, because Esau has spoiled many nations, the people of that land is going to spoil him. That means they destroy. And the violence of the land, right? Esau is ruled with an iron fist, man. And the other nations haven't forgot. They're going to come up against this place eventually. Right? Right? And with that iron fist, what do you do? Take the natural resources of these various places, set up various corporations, manufacturing corporations in these various countries. Overwork the people of that country. Yeah, people are getting tired of this. Right? The people's souls are crying out, man. And chiefly, the people who are fed up are us, the Israelites, the true rulers of the world, man. The elect. All right. Those are going to be the man that's going to stand up against they stand up against Esau Edom, right, and call him out on his BS, right. And eventually, the Most High is going to send his son back to do away with all this madness that we see on the earth, man. Right? He's going to destroy this place, right? He's going to use these other nations to do so, right? But he's using us too to call out Esau Edom his BS. Okay, all right. So prayer is edifying for you all. We give all praise to my Heavenly Father's name is Yahweh by Yeshim, Yahweh Shai by Yeshim Karkadash. The honor to the apostles and the elders everywhere. Salutations to Yakim that tune in. Praise edifying. Shalom.